First of all, I thank everybody for being here. Two things that popped into my mind when Mr. Beeler was speaking. First and foremost, I finally remembered why my wife goes to the farmer's market and not me. And the second thing was his points on failure. I have a title at work that I abhor. I do not like being called a specialist. My experience comes from taking really good notes when I make mistakes. So I think I just want to acknowledge it's been a minute since I've seen Warren, but he said that and it really stuck back into my mind that I don't like being a specialist. I like to be a guy that knows how to find the answers and willing to find them, and I think that's important in agriculture. But again, just brief introduction to me. My name's Mike. I live and farm with my family in Rockcastle County, Kentucky. We have a small, diversified farm. Our primary revenue off our farm is our pasture-based hog business. And we also do a small CSA, run a few vegetables. I first became involved in Kentucky agriculture in 2012. When I started a nonprofit that Dr. Bernard spoke about a little earlier called Growing Warriors. We specifically started that project. I was actually preparing for a presentation and I came across a statistic that over 1.5 million veterans and around 600,000 active duty military personnel receive food stamps. And I took that kind of personally. I've been going through some personal stuff with my brother as he was transitioning out of the service as well. And so that's sort of how I got involved in Kentucky agriculture and this sort of work. Currently now I work for the National Center for Appropriate Technology. We are based in Butte, Montana, but we work nationally since 1976. NCAT has provided relevant information, individualized technical assistance, and in-depth resources to support sustainable agriculture across the U.S. And say that we're practical because we're all mostly small-scale farmers, so most of the solutions that we come up with are things that most people can work with. We're trusted, if you go to our website, you'll see all of our educational resources. And we also facilitate meaningful connections. The biggest success for me is being able to not answer a farmer's question, but connect them to another farmer that can answer that question. So I just want to take a few minutes today just to talk through a couple of our specialized programs and then end with our veteran-specific program. Just to sort of introduce you to some free resources that are available to veterans, farmers, and veteran service providers as well. ATTRA is it's our flagship program. It's developed and managed by us at NCAT, and most of our funding is actually through a congressionally mandated cooperative agreement with the USDA to provide direct technical assistance to farmers and producers, as well as educational resources. The ATTRA website houses over 1,000 different educational resources in all formats, whether those are technical papers, whether those are conversations, blog posts, or case studies about what other farmers have done to solve challenges. Excuse me. So again, that is our flagship program, and the website's there on the top. I have a card too if anybody wants that, but again, that website houses thousands of pages of free educational resources and information on local and regional training programs that we offer. One of our newest projects, which I had the pleasure of talking about a little bit earlier with a gentleman here, is our Agri-Solar Clearinghouse. Again, this is a cooperative agreement with the USDA. It's a nationwide hub that's designed to connect business and landowners and researchers with trusted resources to support the co-located growth of solar industry with agriculture. A lot of cool farms doing a lot of great things with that. And I guess it's also known as agrovoltaic development, is another term that they're using for it. But we have an entire team. Our organization is split into two divisions. We have an energy division that works specifically, if you're familiar with the LIHEAP program, the low income energy assistance program, that's managed by our energy division nationally. And then we also have our agriculture division, and that sort of agri-solar clearinghouse is designed to merge those two sort of staff expertise that we have. So if you're looking for information on that, we do have specialists that know a lot more than me. I could probably get you into trouble, but again, a free resource for all of you. The next program that I want to talk about, I actually have a video, so I'm probably not going to talk, thank you. As you can tell, I was parched. Is our Soil for Water project, and I don't know if you can click that video link and make it work, or if I just need to muddle through it, but it's a peer-to-peer based network that's designed to help farmers and ranchers capture more water in their soil. If you think about this logically, we spend hundreds of millions of dollars a year fighting over water rights and water privileges in reservoirs and rivers and streams. What we discount is the fact that our soil actually has a water holding capacity 3,812 times that of our reservoir globally. So this project is a collaboration to try to work on that soil sponge aspect of agriculture and helping. Oh, here we go.
The soil that covers U.S. farm and ranch land holds a remarkable story. It's a tale of success and setbacks. At its best, the soil beneath our feet is the source of life, food, and economic security. At its worst, degraded soil plagued by too much water or not enough can wash away or crumble farmer and ranchers' livelihoods, which in turn threaten our food supply and entire communities.
This is unprecedented stuff that we're going through. We have such big challenges in front of us with climate, with floods, with fire. They come together in how you take care of the soil.
Most of the time, our farmers do not have a plan B. So flooding and erosion is very, very difficult for farmers sometimes to even jump back from.
There's just some almost depression of that things are getting this tough.
40% of all land in the U.S. is farm or ranch land, but it's at risk. Today, vast swaths of it are being plagued by an increasing frequency of volatile weather patterns.
Your soil health is going to keep you in business. If you take care of your soil, the land will give back to you in terms of your productivity.
Unhealthy soil doesn't absorb much water. Healthy soil acts like a sponge, capable of holding hundreds of thousands of gallons of water in an acre. It can prevent erosion, runoff, and flooding. During a drought, the water in healthy soil keeps plants alive.
When you increase organic matter in your soils, you're giving yourself more water.
Start. 1, 2, 3.
If it rained 2 inches, it would have to rain it faster than 40 seconds to run off this ground.
It can't flood. And what you can see is it's resilient to drought too.
I used to think of myself as a grass farmer. Now you hear a lot of people saying that they're farming the livestock below the ground or in the soil. So I think we're just now starting to realize really the importance of soil health and how it affects everything above the ground too.
Through a program called Soil for Water from the National Center for Appropriate Technology, an expanding network of farmers, ranchers, and land managers across the United States are discovering ways to regenerate their soil.
A big part of what Soil for Water offers is people who understand where you're at and very well could have some solutions.
I love to connect with farmers just by introducing myself and going to these academies or going to these workshops and sitting down and talking to somebody that I don't know, just to learn from them.
If we're going to be successful ranching in the long term, we need to do a better job of working together with other ranchers and learn how to do things regeneratively and profitably.
We have forgotten that it starts with what is beneath our feet. Because if you don't care for what's beneath your feet first and foremost, then the rest of it really doesn't matter a whole heck of a lot.
By using common sense practices like managed grazing systems, frequent crop rotations, livestock and plant diversification, and building soil biology, ground cover thrives and soil health improves.
The effects of restoring the soil, then the plants above it, then the primary consumers and then predators has happened in this field before our eyes over the last 2 years.
Starting in Texas following the mega drought there, Soil for Water grew to 8 pilot states and is now open to farmers, ranchers, and land managers across the U.S.
The goal for Soil for Water is to disseminate really useful information for land managers, producers to be able to improve their land for water capture.
Soil for Water is a free and collaborative program with easy-to-use soil monitoring tools, workshops, and webinars. It offers an online network of resources, national experts, and peer-to-peer forums to advance best practices in real time.
Good to have more people looking at any problem than one person.
It offers a chance to learn new things and to apply it to your land and to improve. It keeps hope going.
In the collaboration process, I've already seen improvements.
As we connect with more and more landowners, to see the light come on for them is very exciting.
We did it. You know, that's like a storybook. You can't fake that.
The Soil for Water program shows us that regenerating soil is possible.
Even under the hardest drought conditions, there are management steps people can take that will allow them to stay on their ranches and be sustainable over the long haul.
We can keep more water in the ground, which nourishes our food, makes farms and ranches more productive and profitable, and creates resilient communities.
I am 4th generation. I hate to be the one that fails and loses it. Everybody else made it. I should make it.
If all of us who manage land learn how to manage our soils and make them healthy so that they stay stable through weather forces, we are improving our land now and into the future.
Learn more at soilforwater.org.
So, a little longer than I remembered it being, but I wanted to share that with you all because I think that on top of just the Soil for Water, it very clearly articulates who we are and how we work as an organization. All of our education and programming is geared towards peer-to-peer networking. And last, I want to talk about our one of our longest standing and most successful programs, which is our Arm to Farm program, Arm to Farm. I actually was a graduate of the first Arm to Farm in 2011 from NCAP before I came to work with them a few years ago. But Arm to Farm is a 5-day intensive beginning farmer training program that also expands on that peer-to-peer network. So I just was in Boulder, Colorado last week. We had one of these 5-day intensives, and we actually just graduated our 1,000th participant from this program, and we are actually now doing what we're calling a 2.0, which is a more intensive. So I bring this up to say that we have 2 of these coming up in Kentucky this next calendar year in 2023 that will be available for any of you. The great thing for me about the Arm to Farm program is that the amount of time that you get to spend with the other veterans in your class allows you to build those peer-to-peer networks, and we facilitate that ongoing communication through our message boards and our blogs and our some open space sort of educational meetings on a monthly basis. So that's really all I have. And I don't know how much time you had for me, but for any questions, I'm happy to answer them, but I'm happy to hand off this wand too. So we discussed earlier, my wife's the people person.